Welcome to Just James, the podcast. We hope this episode enlightens, illuminates, and illustrates a new outlook for your life. And now, here is our host.
Well, hello, everyone. It's your boy. It's me. It's PJV. And that's no cap. That's big facts. Man, let's get to the topic of the day. The topic of the day is how to process a divorce. Yeah, we're going to have this conversation today. How to process a divorce. For those who don't know, hello everyone. My name is PJV. I am in ministry. I am a father, but I'm also a divorced man. Uh I met my first wife in college, my ex-wife in college. Um we got to know each other over a period of time, ended up being together 3 years. Then I proposed. Shortly after we proposed, I graduated college, got licensed and ordained, all within like a month frame. Was a lot was going on. A few months after that, we found out we were pregnant with our son, and then our son was born on my birthday. So, yes, me and our son, we celebrate our birthdays together. So, yeah, he's a little me walking around here. um, at the time, I'm working, state job, things are going well, no complaints, things on up and up. We moved out of my father's house and we got our own spot, things are going good, things are going good, and things all of a sudden wasn't good anymore. I ended up losing my job, and eventually went to a severe depression, in which eventually took a toll on my marriage. I'm not going to go into the uh, deep details of everything, just to one, because the other person, my ex-wife, is not here to give her side of the story, and I'm not going to tell her side. um, and there's certain things that I know would most likely jeopardize not just her reputation but mine as well. And I think she should have the freedom to voice those things if she so chooses. But so when I talk, I'm really only talking from my perspective and my perspective alone, from my eyewitness and from what I've seen and from what I can understand. So just take everything as you will. Um, so things begin to just go downhill. Went to hell in a handbasket real fast. Car repossessed right before I lost the job. Um, man, so much happened. Depression, anxiety, applying for jobs, not getting jobs, coming close to getting a job, losing valuable information that could have locked in that job, taking that to the chin, and a host of other things. People dying on us, and it was a lot. Um, Eventually, everything culminated in 2021 with the passing of my father. Prior to that, me and my ex-wife were separated. Um, and I think after that, um, a few months later, skipping some details, a few months later, and I to see my dad died in October, and then January, my ex-wife moved out, and a few months later, she filed for divorce. Um, because I was asking what she wants to do and da 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 da. She was kind of playing around with it. I'm like, look, make up your mind what you're gonna do. Either staying in or going out. You ain't take all the good air out this house. Make up your mind. So eventually, she said that she wanted a divorce, and my response was great, because I finally know what you want to do. She said, you sound like you're happy about it. I said, well, I'm just happy that I have a decision that now I know that I can, rebuild and recalibrate my life without you. I don't have to consider you in that rebuilding process. So, one thing I remember distinctly telling my ex-wife was, I'm not leaving this marriage. Um, if this marriage ends, it will be by your hand. And what I meant by that was, hey, did I want to work things out? Yeah. But I'm not gonna work it out with someone who don't want to work it out with me. I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make you stay if you don't want to. So I'm not gonna force that. I'm not gonna fight that. I'm not gonna fight you for that. It shouldn't have to be a fight. That's just my mind frame towards that. So after that, began to go on a downward spiral mentally and emotionally and financially. I went down through that, man. Had to go through therapy, to which I thank God for my counselor, my therapist, Dr. Richardson, out of Selma, Alabama, Oakleaf Counseling. Made a shout out to him. Much respect and love to that man. Um, Processing that, how and that I went to through a trip to Puerto Rico, just kind of clear my head, man. Went in that water, I felt baptized again. Came back and had to, face some things within myself internally, you know. So eventually, I was spent a year in therapy and definitely got back to where I need to be mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I definitely spiritually increased. Um, so that's up to date for the most part. Been dating, here and there, and talking to different women, and processing the dating life after divorce. Um, so how do you process a divorce? Well, first off, I'm a believer, so there's such a stigma around divorce, especially being a pastor and being divorced. And what the Bible says, you can't divorce, you can't get remarried again, this and the third, or the only grounds for divorce is an affair. No, and you can divorce on the grounds of abuse because that's forsaking the marriage, that's neglect, and the Bible considers that abuse. And people often stigmatize preachers and things of that nature for being divorced, but don't even read the Bible and found out that, and I think it's in Jeremiah chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, Jeremiah chapter 3. Yes, Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 8. It says, and I quote, is HCSB translation, I, the Lord, observed that it was because unfaithful Israel had committed adultery that I sent her away and had given her a certificate of divorce. This is Yahweh talking. But later on, uh, in verse 11, Yahweh says, the Lord announced to me, Jeremiah sees that the Lord announced to Jeremiah, unfaithful Israel has shown herself to be more righteous than treacherous Judah. Go and proclaim these words to the north and say, return, unfaithful Israel. This is the Lord's declaration. I will not look on you with anger, for I am unfailing in my love. This is the Lord's declaration. I will not be angry forever. Only acknowledge your guilt. You have rebelled against the Lord your God. So God later rescinds that divorce letter. So even God sent Israel, according to what the Bible says, a bill of divorce. Hmm. So even God was on the verge of getting a divorce. Wow. It's crazy to think about, huh? So I hope that helps somebody, biblically speaking. So, how do we process these things? How do we create healthier mechanisms, especially from a male perspective? Processing a divorce from the male perspective is often a tumultuous one because you feel powerless. Depending on the situation, if your wife files, which in that's most situations the wife is going to file, you feel powerless, you feel blindsided, you feel um, uh, taken off guard. And for women that who hears that, it's like, what you mean? Like they've been giving signs and stuff like that for a whole time. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've been you've had uncommunicated expectations, or you have been talking, but nothing has been effectively comprehended because you think your spouse is your girlfriend, but he's not. That's your husband. So you can't talk to him like he's your girl, like one of your girlfriends, or you can't talk to him like how you talk to you. He's a completely different person, completely different intellect, completely different comprehension skills. So you can't talk to him and he can't talk to you the way y'all talk to yourselves. You have to consider that in the process of communication. So how did I process everything? I process things negatively and positively. How can you say that? Negatively, in the sense of, if for anyone that's been divorced or going through a divorce, you have spent an ample amount of time with a person and now you're no longer with them. So there's a door, there's a desire that has been activated that's not shutting down anytime soon. And that is the desire for intimacy and connection. So you will go about potentially jumping to the next relationship. And um, engaging in situationships and friends with benefits type of situations after during the divorce or separation, during the divorce and all that good stuff. For this reason, I do not recommend anyone to date anybody in the first year of their separation or divorce. Maybe like a year and a half. Don't do that. If they say they're divorced and just got divorced like a few months ago, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You're just a rebound. You're just a rebound because it's potential that they could still be messing with their ex. Okay, don't do that to yourself. Let them be, male or female, don't matter. Let them be, because the reason why they're out there like that, because they are seeking human connectivity and intimacy, but they're going about it the wrong way, and they're going to use you to get their needs met, but they're not going to meet yours. How do I know? Because I did the same thing. Okay, there was a young lady who was very interested in me, but the difference between me and most people was I communicated to her where I was. I told her, I said, hey, look, honey, look, I just got out of a 7 year relationship, 5 of which I was married. And I met you literally the month that my ex wife left. And now, a few months later, my ex wife has filed. And I'm telling you, hey, I'm not okay. I'm waving the red flag on myself, and I got the message to prove it. Like, hey, honey, I'm not okay. I'm not good. I'm not healthy. I'm not any of that. I'm not okay. And I'm telling her to her face, I am not okay. And she still wanted a relationship with me. I'm like, honey, I told you, all I'm gonna do is hurt you, is give your hopes up and hurt you. Like, I'm being honest. I'm not trying to play nobody. I ain't trying to deceive nobody. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm like, look, honey, I am not okay. I'm not okay. Okay. And the number of women that will settle for a piece of a man after a divorce is scary to me. That you would subject yourself to that level of punishment to a man who is mentally and emotionally unavailable and unbalanced. I can openly and admit that I was mentally and emotionally unbalanced. I was not capable of that moment of being any person's man, any person, any woman's boyfriend, fiance, or husband at that moment because mentally and emotionally I was through. I was through. You feel me? So I said, all right, this is what you want. This is what you want. A few months later, situation happened, and she came in. Oh, I feel this type of way. I feel that type of way. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. I told you from the jump. I had a disclaimer, right? I snitched on myself, and I told you I was messed up. I told you how I felt. I told you where I was. But you're trying to blame me for your own negligence because you're lonely, you're desperate, right? And in that moment, I met her in my brokenness. So as time progressed, I went to therapy. Please, I advise my brothers to go to therapy. And here's the thing about therapy for men. I'm about to go into it too. Therapy for men. It's not just about men are not just seeking. You say men you need to go to therapy, which we do, but men's therapy has to be different. It's not just talking about your feelings. No, I have to know. We have to know as men that we are powerful and that we are capable. And if anyone can tell us that we are powerful and that we are capable of doing what we set out to do, we'll call we as what the dudes say, we'll crawl through glass to make it happen. But we just have to know, right? So as I'm doing the work, as I'm healing, as I'm progressing, as I'm learning, as I'm gaining my emotional bearings together, as I'm gaining my spiritual bearings, my mental bearings together, I'm beginning to realize that this person that I'm in the situationship with, I am sexually attracted to this woman, but I'm not emotionally attracted to this woman. And the reason being is I met her, and I'm gonna say it like this, I settled for her because of my brokenness. But had I been in my healed, whole self, I would have never given her a second glance. And that's many of us. Many of us have entered relationships when we weren't our healed self, we wasn't our best self mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and we settle for a piece of a person or a person for where we were and not for where we were going. And many folk got locked in with them, married them and had babies with them, and now they stuck with them. I'm so grateful to God that I had enough common sense not to have a baby with this woman. Now, don't get it twisted. This young lady, she's a sweet young lady, beautiful, and I believe that she will make any man a good wife. She's a good person, and I believe I'm a good person too. But just because we're good people don't mean that we're good for each other. Okay, just because you're good people don't mean that you're good for each other. Okay, just because that need is filled doesn't mean that they're capable of doing the other parts of what you need in a relationship. Because what I found was I was meeting all of her needs, but my needs weren't being met. I'm an intellectual, I'm a conversationalist, I'm a thinker, and I can't have conversations with you on that level. So that means it's going to annoy me and it's going to bore me. And eventually I'm going to start disrespecting you and dishonoring you. And that's not fair to you because you like me. So because that's the way it is, let me just end it. Let me just cut it off. So just giving my process through this. Um then through that process, I there was another young lady I was also interested in, and I told her my love languages, stuff like that. We had to, this one we had great communication, and I was getting my love languages met, but the thing about it was so weird for me, and I don't know why it was so weird for me, and I had to realize that in the toxic paradigm of my marriage, and I'm not just saying that from her to me, because I most likely probably did this to my ex-wife too. I can't recall, but she would definitely probably say I did. Um, that most likely I'm gonna say we created a paradigm within the marriage that essentially gave the notion that you had to earn your love languages, earn the right to have your love languages met. right? You have to struggle for your love languages to be met. And I realize that when someone actually likes you, you don't have to earn them. They just give it to you. They just give it to you. And I wasn't used to someone just giving me my love languages for like 3 years. I didn't have that happen for 3 years. So now for it to happen just like that, I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I'm like, if it's like that for me mentally and I'm feeling this way about something that I know that I need, then this damage is really much, it's way deeper than what I think. So I had to end that with her, and she was upset, like, all right. I'm like, look here, baby, there's nothing you can do to help me. This is between me, my therapist, Jesus, and an altar. There's nothing you can do. You don't fit in this equation. Well, yeah, I can't help because I'm like, there's nothing you can do. And I don't understand how and why these women will settle for a half of a man, especially half of a man who's telling them that they're half of a man, who's telling them, hey, I don't have what you need. And if I do, I'm not giving it to you. I don't have it for you. I don't have it. And if I do, I wouldn't give it to you. And that's hard because I realized that after the divorce and after all that is that loneliness sets in, and what happens, you begin to open the door. Being afraid, we're talking about this, you begin to open the door because you're lonely for, I hate to say it like this, but it's the only way I can think about it, bottom of the barrel bare minimum people, where now you're just attracting bare minimum. And that's for men and women too. This is not just one gender, this is for both genders, male and female. Like, you begin to settle for bare minimum just because you want your intimate needs met. And now you having a string of consecutive bad relationships, and it's like, yo, what's going on? So now you have to go back into yourself and close those doors, where now you can receive the person, the real person that you need for your purpose, for your destiny, for your calling, for your assignment. So I advise therapy. I advise you to be honest with yourself. Because watch this. What to learn about it is that your spouse, your person is not the enemy. Your problem is the enemy. Look, I was telling somebody today. I was telling my mom today. I was saying that, look, I'm not gonna deal. I'm not gonna be the punching bag because another woman couldn't deal with her daddy issues. Baby, go talk to him. I'm not him. If you didn't have the ovarian fortitude to address him, don't step to me and think you can hold me accountable for things I didn't even do to you. Don't think you can punish your daddy through me. And ladies, too, don't let these men punish their mama through you. Go let them take it up with their mama. That is not your problem. Their trauma is not your problem. This is for everybody, male and female. Do not allow them to make you the emotional, mental, spiritual, and verbal and physical punching bags and dumpsters for their traumas. Make them face their own traumas. And if you're the bad guy because you make them face their traumas, then be the bad guy then. Wear the dark cape and the fangs and go, be the bad guy. Be the a-hole then. Not to be a literal that one, but it's just, that's how they're going to view you. Because you've established a boundary that you're not settling for mediocrity. You're not going to settle for someone hurting you because they won't be accountable and responsible for the damage that's been done to them. They understand that they're a victim, but you don't need to be a victim with them because of their problem. And I personally don't need to make someone else a victim because of my problems. That's not fair to them. So don't subject yourself to that kind of punishment. Don't subject yourself to that kind of abuse, that kind of heartbreak. Don't subject yourself to that. And as the more help I'm getting, the more that I'm growing, I'm realizing that these women, these situationships that I'm entering in, is a reflection of my brokenness. It's a reflection of my brokenness. I would have grown, I would have healed, and then I would have been stuck with the decision that I made in my brokenness, with the person that I chose in my brokenness. And I would have been angry. And I would have made that woman suffer because I'm angry. And I would have been even more angry if I had a baby with them. And that's the reason. That's the reason why a lot of this baby mama, baby daddy issues going on, because deep down you are angry because you opened your body to someone who was giving you bare minimum. You're not just angry at them or bitter at them. You're bitter at yourself because you know that you settled. So you feel like if you make them suffer, that alleviates, so they give you some form of solace because of your settling. But that's who you chose, though. You didn't think it through. You were so in your feelings and in your emotions, you wasn't thinking. You were not thinking at all. And that's not fair to be a rebound for someone who's broken. You should. I don't believe any person should be a rebound, male or female. You should not be any person's rebound because they don't want to deal with their stuff. Tell them, hey, look, and there was some women that I was interested in, but let them know, like, hey, look, I'm going to ABC right now. I think it's best that we kind of end it, because I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you. I care about you, but I care about you enough to let this thing go so you won't be hurt. And that woman that was like, oh, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Boop, chucked the deuce, and they dipped. And you know what? Most respect to them. Respect to them because they valued themselves. They valued their mental health, their emotional health. And they should not have dealt with a man like me at that moment. Because at that moment, I was in my full villain arc. I was in full toxic mode. I was in Chernobyl toxic mode. Not to mention, the first young lady, I even sent her a message. I said, honey, if you were my daughter and there was a man that you were seeing or interested in that had the same mind frame that I am in right now at that moment, I would tell you to leave that man alone. Leave him alone. Let him process. Let him figure out what's going on with himself. Let him heal. And if he for you, he'll come back around. If not, you dodged a big bullet. You dodged it. So now at this point, the man who's talking to you now is healthier, he's wiser, he's smarter, he's accountable. And what I would tell every young man, every man who's experienced a divorce, especially at the young age that I did, all this I experienced before the age of 30, is that there's life after it, man. After your divorce, there's still life after it, man. You can still recover. You can still bounce back. You can still have a full and healthy life. Guess what? And you can still fall in love again. Because I have fallen in love a couple times after these situations. So that let me know that I'm still capable of loving and being compassionate and being romantic. I'm still capable of that. I still have that on the inside of me. I didn't lose that. My marriage, my former marriage didn't take that away from me. But it made me wise in who I give it to because I understand it's valuable. I understand, watch this, fellas, and I'm gonna elaborate on this and on the next episode. That you are not an orphanage for abandoned and rejected women. Because most of these women ain't looking for husbands, they're looking for fathers. And I don't need another daughter. I already got a son. I need a wife. I don't need a daughter. I need a wife. All right? Someone I can build and grow with. But you're going to be a dependent, a liability, not an asset. So, my brothers, we got to start thinking with the head on our shoulders instead of the head between our legs. Please, please take time, my brothers. Please take time. Talk to your elders. Talk to your OGs. Talk to your friends. Talk to somebody. Please seek professional help that can get you in alignment to where you need to be. Find a men's group. There's a men's group if you're in Alabama. There's a men's group in Huntsville that I go to regularly. Apostle Reginald Robinson, love that man. Beer Church, man. Proud of that brother. He has a very powerful and influential men's gathering that he does here in Huntsville. Go support the brother. Reach out to him. Right? DM me. Reach out to me. I have other brothers around here. But you can grow after this, man. You can prosper after this. You can be all that God has called you to be. And here's the blessing. I was battling. I'm going to end on this. I was battling with the whole divorce thing. And I think the worst part about divorce is all the plans that you had with this person don't exist anymore. They die. Me and my ex-wife, we already named our 2 other children together that we didn't have. It was Caleb Ezekiel and Rhema Sarai. And now, at the moment I'm thinking, I can't have any of that. I had literal visions and dreams that I saw. I'm just like, they were so vivid and real. It's like I can touch it. And when the divorce was happening, I was like, man, I guess it's all over. Everything that I saw, everything that I dreamt is over. And what the Lord told me, what eased my heart in the process, what the Lord told me was, you can still have it without her. He said, she is not necessary for my will to be done. Woo, that's for somebody. That person that left your life that you thought was so important, they are not necessary for God's will to be done in your life. And when he said that, that's when the tears ended. And I realized that there was so much more life to live afterwards. Don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Check yourself. Be self-aware. Be honest. Deal with your traumas. Deal with your issues. Deal with your problems so you won't hurt the next person. So you can grow and mature and be that man, be that woman, be that person that God has called you to be to the fullest extent. My sisters, you can still have everything God promised you without him. My brother, you can still have everything God promised you without her. And that's no cap. That's big facts. I love y'all. God bless y'all. And stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Just James, the podcast. If this episode helped you and you know it can help someone you know, please like, follow, subscribe, and share from all platforms to stay updated on new episodes. In the meantime and in between time, peace and increase.